I would tell my younger self, there's nobody better than you. When I started 30 something years ago in the technology arena, I will never forget this gentleman who said that people that look like me knew nothing about technology. And because at that time, most people that were leaders in technology were middle-aged white males. And so they said, you're never going to, they don't know, they don't even understand technology. And I look at where I am today and the things that I've done, and I've led a technology for over 20 years. And so I would tell myself, never give up. Don't let anybody else determine your path. You got this. And always be humble.
Welcome to the Building Community Podcast. I'm Tiffany Heitzman, and today we have one of my favorite people, Miss Tameka Allen. She's the administrator for Augusta, Richmond County. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Tiffany. I appreciate you asking me to be on here today.
Yeah, very excited to have you here. So you've spent pretty much your entire career in government and with the City of Augusta, Richmond County. Why? And I mean, I'm just going to dive right in there.
Good question. I started with Augusta, Richmond County, believe it or not, 34 years ago.
Wow.
And I think the opportunities that I've had in those 34 years have intrigued me enough to stay.
Yeah.
I started out, believe it or not, in the court system after college. And it was not where I planned on going. But I always think of it as being a way God humbled me. So that's where I ended up, because I felt at the time when I graduated from college, and I was one of those nerds, graduated with a computer science degree and a computer engineering degree, and I just thought I was going to go make big bucks. God felt it was a different path for me.
Yeah.
So I ended up working in the court system at the very beginning, probably one of the best things ultimately, now that I think back on it, that happened to me, because it gave me an opportunity to meet a lot of good people. And then, of course, I had the opportunity to go to different positions. And so having those opportunities helped me stay, because I kind of developed myself.
Yeah.
So those are the things. I think if I would have stayed stagnant, I probably would not have been there as long. But because of the various opportunities, it intrigued me enough to stay.
Yeah. Well, and I think it gives you a really unique perspective now being at the top, as the administrator, because you've worked in so many different departments within the government. So you get it.
Yes.
You know what the struggles are in the court system, or what the wins are, and those things.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do. I started before consolidation, actually. So I was part of the old city system. And then when consolidation happened, I, of course, went to I had started in the technology department before with the city. And I was a computer programmer, analyst. Then I ended up becoming the project manager. And after consolidation, I continued to move up in various technology roles. I stayed in the court system maybe like 2 years or so.
Okay.
And that was when we had a municipal court, so we no longer have that court anymore. And after I did that, then I started going into, more of leadership roles. Then I pretty much became like the deputy IT director, and I had a very good leader at that time. And when he left, I ended up becoming, I was 32 years old when I became the IT director, probably one of the youngest directors hired in that role. I was excited. As a matter of fact, I was out on maternity leave. So my husband attended the meeting.
I love it.
Yeah, he attended the meeting. I was having my first child. He attended the meeting, and it was unanimous, the vote from the governing body, which I truly appreciated. And, the rest is kind of history. I kept moving up from there, had opportunity to work with administration. And one thing that the administrator at the time, his name was Fred Russell. I still love Mr. Russell today, still communicate with Mr. Russell, because I thought he was a smart man, a man that was smart enough to know that while I'm here serving in this role, I'm going to bring somebody else up here that can provide assistance that I know would be able to, benefit the organization. And he asked me to come up, and it's supposed to be a temporary role, to serve as a deputy administrator. And I was like, I got so much to do over here. We still got things I'm trying to accomplish in IT. I set a path. I, designed a plan that I wanted to do. And he said, well, you can do both. I'll let you do both. I was like, okay, if you're going to let me still be the IT director, CIO, whatever, I'll do that. Okay. And I can help in administration. I did it. It ended up for a temporary gig to last about 9 years.
Okay, I was going to say, how long did you do? And you did both for
I did
9
both
years?
jobs for 9 years.
Wow.
9 years.
Wow.
So I oversaw the actual administration departments, the transit, the IT, of course, procurement, those respective departments. So I had the opportunity to work with him. I loved it. Then when Mr. Russell was no longer a part of the organization, I did not seek the administrator position because I still felt like I had some things I wanted to get done in information technology. So I went back solely to information technology. We brought a new administration, and for a few years it went through different leadership, different people coming in that role. Then I decided when that time was right, I said, you know what, I sit here in my office. I've accomplished so many things because I've had such great people that I work with in the information technology department. What else can I do to make it, I like to think, and I will say that most people in the organization will say the information technology department, if not the best, was one of the best and continues to be one of the best operating departments that Augusta has. And I don't say it happened because of me, but it happened because we had good people. So I'm like, I'm getting bored now.
Yeah.
It's nothing. Yeah. It's not a challenge. And one thing that you notice about technology people, we love challenges. Yes. We love to fix things. And I'm like, what else can I fix? So I said, I told my husband, we discussed it because of the number of years, I'm almost close to retirement. I don't want to tell my age.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I could sit here and do really nothing challenging for a couple of more years, a few more years, 4 more years, and retire and have no problems. He said, but that's not you.
Right.
You're not going to, you want to make a change. You want to see things get better. You like challenges. And he said, if you want to do it, do it. So that's when I applied. My team over there, even though they know they're still part of my team, did not want it to happen. I had people questioning, why would you even think about it?
Right.
But I wanted to bring exactly what I think I would like to think I brought to information technology to the overall government.
Yeah.
And so that's where I am now.
Yeah.
And I love it. People say when they see me in the street and they see me at the restaurants or the grocery stores, we pray for you all the time. We see what you're going through. And I tell them thank you, but I love what I do. And I love it.
Yeah, it beams out of you when you walk in a room. I mean, and I've shared this with you. I admire you so much because when you walk in the room, I mean, it just, everybody's, and you, the genuine care and the genuine, I want to get this right. I want us to be better. I want us to be the best. Like, it's in every room you walk in. And I've been in many rooms with you, lucky enough. And I love that for you because I think that's what makes you really the right fit for this job is that you don't back down from the challenges. You know there are challenges and you're like, okay, how can we fix these?
Exactly. Yeah. And it's about solving problems and the challenges are just part of it, but it is so glorifying when you see the results at the end. And, the challenges, they build up every day because I've discovered that it's a different challenge every day. But I wouldn't ask for anything different. Yeah. I really wouldn't.
Yeah. So let's talk about Augusta Richmond County's government and how it's set up.
Okay.
And can you explain, there's been a lot of talk, if you're paying attention about the charter and all those things, can you give us a little high level, what that means? Because a lot of people don't understand the difference in the different governments in our counties and municipalities?
So Augusta Richmond County is actually governed by the mayor and 10 commissioners. We have 8 commissioners that represent one district, and we have 2 commissioners that represent super districts, which is a combination of 4 different districts in each one of those respective super districts. Then you have the administrator, and it depends on what day it is, whether they call it a city administrator or a county administrator, you know?
Yeah.
I laugh sometimes when I'm going to conferences, and I'm like, okay, what do I put down? County administrator or city administrator? Nobody
What
knows.
am I feeling? Yeah. What am I feeling like
what
today?
am I doing
Yeah.
today?
Yeah.
But so the administrator is supposed to manage the day-to-day operation. However, the administrator does not get to hire the people that report to them. So the department directors, who actually manage the day-to-day operation of their respective departments, report to the administrator. However, the administrator does not hire or fire that person. The governing body does. So it's kind of confusing to the department heads. And it puts the administrator in a bad position as well, because, you know, if that administrator is not really happy, and I'm not saying that our governing body is not open to the administrator making recommendations for change, but it still puts that administrator in an awkward position, because if, in their mind, if the administrator is being held accountable for making things happen and following things through, and they cannot make sure that that director is doing it, and if the director is not doing it to their satisfaction, all that director has to do is get 6 votes, you know, and that's what you hear a lot about in Augusta, is get the 6 votes, and nothing happens.
Yeah. Your hands are tied.
The hands are tied.
Yeah. So I can see that being a huge barrier when you're trying to make changes or, you know, do things better in certain departments.
Yes.
Where you know, and probably your directors know, and then there's no, almost like cohesiveness.
True.
Yeah.
And it leaves a little bit of question in regards to accountability. Are you holding the administrator accountable? And if you're holding the administrator accountable, how can the administrator be held accountable for things they cannot control?
Yeah.
So it puts, you know, I hear people talk about it, and I understand that, you know, I'm fortunate that I work with good department heads, but that may not always be the case.
Yeah. No wonder so many people are praying for you.
And, you know, I welcome all of that
Amen.
prayer.
Same. When people say, "What can I do for you?" I'm like, "Pray."
That's right.
Pray.
Just pray
for us. I mean, seriously, that's just, yeah. So I do want to, I've been meaning to ask you this because I heard you speak, at an event, a women's event, and I was just in more of awe of you because I got to learn a little bit more about you personally and what drives you and all that. But how in the world did you end up in computers? How did you end up that was your major?
You know, it's crazy. My parents wanted the same thing. So I am the oldest, and so my parents said, what are you going to college for? You know, what are you going to do? What are you going to study? Are you going to be a teacher? You're a nurse, you know. Think about it 30-something years ago. Most females went into education or business or teaching. Not teaching, in the medical healthcare.
Yeah.
So computer science, what? You know, my parents, but I've always been infatuated with technology and coding and things of that nature. I mean, I was just really a nerd. And so I said, that's what I want to do. And my parents were like, what? And so I remember when I went to college, because originally I spent the summer of my high school graduation in Los Angeles with family. And so while I was there, I snuck in, got accepted to the college, and my goal was to go to UCLA. I'm going to UCLA, Magic Johnson and all of them are big this time. The Lakers were the team. I'm going to UCLA. So my mom's, no, you're not. You're coming back to Georgia. And I was like, oh no. So anyway, I came back. My parents sent me to Savannah State University. One of the best decisions that they could have made. I had a family member that was notorious at Savannah State. Everybody knew And so they sent me there. And I'll never forget meeting with my advisor. And she said, now, Tameka, I'm going to tell you, I want you to look at the people in the room with you when you start. And the next semester, I want you to look at them again. You're not going to see the same people. And she said, it's going to take you, I don't want you to get discouraged, but it's going to take you at least 5 years or more to get out of this. I was like, what? I said, 5 years?
Right. As a freshman, you're
Yes.
like, when is my senior year?
Yes. I was like, no, I have to get out in 4 years. I've been always told 4 years is what you do in college. I wish I'd have known better then. So I said, 4 years, I have to get out of here in 4 years. She said, no. I said, no, Doc, I think I'm going to get out in 4 years. I'm going to get my bachelor's degree in computer science, but I'm also going to get my associate's degree in computer engineering. And I'll never forget how she looked at me, and she was like, okay, I don't think so. Ultimately, I got out in 4 years with both degrees.
It's amazing.
And it was just because of my infatuation with technology. It wasn't easy. I have 2 kids in college now, and neither one of them worried about 4 years of getting out. so it's okay. I was just crazy and driven enough to want to do that. And I've always been infatuated with change.
Yeah.
And what can I do and how can I use tools to make things better?
Yeah. What's your favorite technology tool or device that you're using right now? Or program, I guess.
I would probably say, it's hard because I go into so many different programs. I've been infatuated with artificial intelligence before it even started. And me and some of my coworkers laugh, when everybody was into the cybersecurity discussions. And I would say, y'all, we're missing the mark. And they would say, Miss Allen, what are you saying? I said, artificial intelligence is what's going to be the discussion. I said, we're talking so much and we have so many people investing in cybersecurity, which I think is very important. I said, but artificial intelligence is going to be what's going to scare everybody. And he said, Miss Allen, nobody even knows what you're talking about. And I said, it is. Uh-huh. And they come now and they said, Miss Allen,
you were right.
Said it.
Yep, you were right.
You said
take credit for that one.
I
it
do.
Is very. I mean, it's funny you say that because even in our industry, in the home build, I mean, every seminar I go to or every conference I go to, there's a whole section dedicated to artificial intelligence and how it gropes into building, and developing, and all that. I mean, every single one. The last 2-3 years, it's
It is.
You
just
called it
crazy. It's crazy. Machine language. It is just intriguing and it's just really, we just have to be very careful with it.
Yeah.
Let me say that. But it's a tool now that is being utilized everywhere to improve things. So, I mean, it's scary, but it's also phenomenal.
Yeah. I mean, it's incredible what it can do and all the things. I mean, now, I think it was Delta or someone I called the other day about a flight, and it was all artificial intelligence. Mm-hmm. And I was done in 5 minutes. 20 years or even 2-3 years ago, that would have been a probably 20-minute conversation with the person trying to figure out. Yeah, it was incredible. So, we talk a lot about building community, what community is, and in your job, everyday job, it's not just employees and taxpayers and roads and bridges and all the things. But we're also feeling a lot of people who, maybe don't trust government or, the negativity around anything new or different. How do you work with residents and how do you work with business owners and building those relationships? Because I'm sure that's probably a really big challenge.
I just believe in being very transparent. I started out being transparent. I've always been transparent. I've always felt that you need to keep people informed. Sometimes I call the citizens and, I'll say, how things going? And they're like, Miss Allen, you calling me? And I'm saying, why wouldn't I? Yeah. Why can't I call you to see how things are going? And it's like they're shocked, like, you're not supposed to do that. And so I feel like you just have to really care about what's happening. You have to have that compassion to realize that the only way you're going to get trust or gain trust is to earn trust. And so you have to reach out to different people. You have to be able to move in all the respective circles. You cannot put yourself in a bubble or in a shell and think I only need to communicate or work with certain people. You have to work with everybody. And so that's one of the things that I truly want us to do in Augusta is I want us to earn the people's trust. You may not like some of the decisions that are made, but I want you to at least trust them enough to know that was the best decision that could have been made.
Yeah, in those situations. And you
Exactly.
bring up a really good point. Like there is, so much of like, I don't like this, and everybody gets on social media and, I call them the keyboard warriors. But ultimately, you live here, your family lives here, I live here, all the sitting commissioners all live here, work here, raise their families here. I have to I choose to believe that at the end of the day, if they're given this choice or this choice, they try and make the best decision for the bigger picture. And I see that in your work, like when we're in meetings and all that. Like, you admit when we're not doing so well over here, but we're here to fix it. That's why we're all sitting around this table. And I think you bring up a good point. Like, get involved. Reach out. It's okay for us. You and I disagree on some things,
Yeah.
but we respect each other
That's right.
so much. And there are other people in government that I don't always agree with, but we can still respect each other.
That's exactly right.
And we've lost that in our society. And I think it's so unfortunate that people, I have one of my best friends we disagree with politically, but we're the best of friends. And if that person called me right now, I would say, sorry, I got to go because they need me,
That's right. That's exactly. That's how I am too.
Yeah. And
you just can't take a lot of things personal.
Yes.
And I think life is so short that when you take things personal, you can never move forward. You have to just say, okay, we may agree to disagree. We're going to walk away, and it's okay.
Yeah.
And we're going to keep doing the things that we're here to do. I think a lot of times people take things personal. And if they don't get exactly what they want in the time, it's not, they don't take the opportunity to say, oh, well, maybe I understand why that didn't happen.
Yeah.
You know, and I think sometimes we step back and do that and do our research. And I think, you end up coming to a better result.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and even people are like, well, they didn't tell us that, and I think y'all do the best job you can. The traditional media is not what it was 20 years ago. And so you do the best job you can to reach as many people as you can. But also it's an expense. So if you can do it on social media that doesn't cost you anything, that I understand. And I'm just like, well, just open up Google and stories come up, or do a search, or yeah.
Years ago when we started, and when I was in IT, I was the director at the time when we started showing the streaming the actual commission meetings on the 8th floor of the municipal building. And that was part of trying to be transparent, trying to be open, trying to make sure that our constituents can see the government at work. And now we've evolved into a major, thing. Every time we do something now is streaming. Everything that we do, someone wants it on film. So again, you're right, Tiffany. We do everything we can to be as transparent as we can. And it drives me crazy when people say, oh, Augusta's just not transparent. It's not. I like to think, honestly, that since this administration, we have been as transparent as we possibly can. We've identified a number of issues that need to be resolved. We're open about it, as open as we can be about it. And hopefully we're earning, we're moving toward earning that trust, going back to the trust factor. And people see that we're doing, honestly, what we can to make sure the information is out there. I told a young lady the other day, a group that I spoke to the other night in regards to our zoning ordinance. And it was like, there's no transparency. And she said, oh, we're not. Da-da. I was like, ma'am, we've done everything we possibly can to put this information out and I went and touched her, other than touch you. That's it.
Yeah.
So tell me, what else can we do?
Yeah.
We put it on social media. We send press releases. We do announcements. We even allow you to register to get information from us, and we send it to you. So I said, the only thing we have not done is actually physically came to touch you.
Yeah.
I said, so we need you to spread the word as well to the community when we're putting things out there, because we want you to be informed. We don't want you to feel like you're just finding out today.
Yeah.
And so I think she appreciated that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, we were in a meeting, was that yesterday or 2 days ago? All the days are running together, and somebody said, I haven't heard anything. And I mean, you said a lot of the same things, like that we've done this. And I wanted to jump in and like be on the defense for y'all, because I'm like, it's been talked about. It's like, I mean, you do the best you can. I mean, I have members that say, I didn't know we were having this meeting. And I'm like, well, we've sent it out, I mean, I'm sorry you're not paying attention. I want to say that. Or you're not reading your email. Yeah. Y'all say you don't want mail because the mail, who knows when it'll show up. So trying to do all the things, and social media. Yeah. It's the endless. Yeah. So you are deeply connected to Augusta. I mean, you said before you've been here for working in Augusta for 34 years, probably been there. And you are really tied into the community. What does that look like for you? What are your touch, heart things? Because I know you're very involved in your sorority and other organizations around the area. What's important to you and why?
I think the most important thing to me is being a public servant without being political.
That's hard for you.
It's hard.
In that position.
It's so hard.
Because it gets hard for me, and I'm not the administrator of a county of 250.
They said, Miss Allen, you cannot be the administrator and not be political. I said, yes, I can. It's hard. It's very hard. But I do if you go in it knowing that you're trying to be a public servant to do the right thing. I'm not trying to be best friends with this one or that one. I'm not trying to stroke anybody's ego. I'm just about doing what's right for the people. And so when I go into the position, when I got in there, first thing I wanted to do was meet with the employees, even though I've been there 30 something years, but it's a different position for me. It's a different role.
Yeah.
So I wanted to meet with the employees. I went out and I met with the various recreational sites so I can actually sit down with some of the seniors. Believe it or not, they have some of the best ideas, and they've been around longer. And so they know a number of the things, and I wanted to find out what's important to them. And so I went to each one of those sites. I go out and I talk to people. I love going to different areas to talk. I love talking to students. I love going to the schools. Some of them ask me, am I a school teacher? Because they've seen me so many times at schools doing presentations. And I've started, I used to have a girls club at a school down Hornsby, and I started it at Craig Horton years ago, so that tells you how long it's been. And I've just done various initiatives in the community. It has nothing to do with even my sorority or any other organizations. It was just because I wanted to give back, and I had the opportunity to have good people that supported me in doing that. We actually years ago started the first technology camp for students in Richmond County. And I convinced the governing body at that time to allow me to do it so it wouldn't cost anybody anything. That was before you ever heard of these cyber camps that are here now. This is before cyber. This was before any of that. And it was just when Microsoft was really coming out with its products. And we had camps that we told kids and taught kids how to utilize technology. And it amazes me now that some of these kids graduated from college. I see their parents, and they say, they majored in computer science, or they majored in information systems, something technology related, and they just want to tell me thank you. And they said, because you got them on that. We had robotics camps. I mean, that was the first time before any organization in Augusta started that. I'm proud to say the City of Augusta did it, because that to me was a public service. That was something to offer back to our community. 311 was another thing that I wanted to give the citizens an opportunity to be able to call and say, these are situations that I have. And I'll never forget when I presented that theory to the governing body, they denied it. And they didn't approve it. And they said, no, we're not, Miss Allen, we're not doing a 311. I'm like, we need somewhere so people can call. We had Augusta Cares, but this is a whole new level. You need people, you need people that's going to be on that phone and in a way to listen to our constituents. So they denied it, but I didn't give up.
Of course not.
And I didn't give
Of
up.
course not.
That's a challenge.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
had to go rework the plan.
Uh-huh.
The plan may not have been the best plan at the time. I will say that because it was a little more costly. But I went back, revamped it, reworked it, and brought it back to them again. And they looked, it's like, I think we'll do this. And now, they can't imagine not having Augusta 311.
Right.
They can't imagine not having, I hear them call our 311. And I'm like, yes, that
Yes.
worked,
Yeah.
So those are the things, being a public servant, making sure you can listen to the people, give them an opportunity to voice their concerns, voice their opinions, voice their issues, and then don't just let them voice them. Make sure you resolve it or talk back with them.
Yeah,
So
I love that.
that's it.
I didn't know that you started that, or the robotics and the cyber camps before that was a thing. Such a cliche word. So technology is kind of what you love, and all that is changing rapidly every day. What is one way that Augusta is using technology to better serve their citizens?
Oh gosh, so many different ways. Now, and this has been in place for a very long time, is, payments online, and our public safety utilizes our mobile data terminals, which are the laptops that you actually see in the police cars or the fire ambulances and things of that nature to do communication. Those are things that through the changes of technology came about, and it makes it more efficient for us to do things. Our GIS, Geographical Information Systems, I will love that they're just award winning. I am so proud of that and the team that we built over there. I hear many realtors utilize our GIS to find out information on property and things of that nature. So I think we use it in the organization, and I'm always pushing for more use of the technology. And maybe I'm a little biased, but I just love the way it helps to streamline and bring efficiencies in operations.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about it a lot in meetings, some of the technology tools that are available and that could be really like transformational for you all as an organization, but also the end user, us too, where we're not having to interrupt somebody working or an employee for a phone call. We can do it through a portal. So yeah, it's pretty incredible. What do you think is Augusta, Richmond County's biggest challenge right now?
I think it's educating our citizenry, letting them, and that's one thing again that I try to do. I have different forums that I go out in the community. I try to go out and speak about budget, give them the information, let them understand what Augusta and how we operate. Even when we were talking about FLOST and in the SPLOS vote and things of that nature, of course, as a government, we can't advocate for either, but what I wanted to make sure is that they understood it. Give them the facts of how it impacts their government and how it impacts their community. So I think educating our citizens and making sure that, again, we continue to push transparency. That is probably something that I think we need to continue to do, is to educate.
Yeah. I always say I'd love to take a bus or 2 buses or 10 buses of citizens to areas that don't have transportation tax or SPLOST tax. I mean, my home county where I grew up, they've been trying to get a road 1 cent for years. Actually, me and Earl McLeod, who was over the Columbia Home Builders Association, I was over the chamber there, and we tried to get a 1 cent for roads passed. And there's a meme somewhere online that says, "We love taxes," and holding signs with my head and his head. Yeah, funny story. But they don't have it now, and their transportation is it's terrible. And they don't have funds. They don't have matching dollars to go get.
Goodness.
So like what that 1 cent did for roads, what it's doing for roads right now in downtown Augusta. We see it in Columbia County and Aiken County, and I just wish I could take people and say, like, this is what will happen if you don't have these things
Exactly.
in place.
Exactly.
And let them see the other side of it.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah. That's my, one day I'm going to do that where I'm just going to get a bunch of buses and take people around and say, this is what could happen if we don't do this or if we don't get on board for this. So, yeah. So I want to wrap up. One of my favorite things is my rapid fire questions because they're fun. First thing that comes to your mind.
All right.
All right. Best thing about Augusta that doesn't get enough credit.
I think, and this is going to sound a little weird, but I would say the opportunity.
Oh, yeah. I love that. There is, yes.
There is so much, I hear people say there's so much potential, but I like to think it's a lot of opportunity in Augusta.
Mm-hmm. That's so good. Yep. One word that describes your leadership style.
Transformational. I believe in setting a plan, implementing the plan, and seeing it to the end.
I agree with that. I would have said servant too, because you do. I mean, it just comes out of you. What is your favorite spot to clear your head?
I don't know if my head is ever clear, to be honest.
True.
I might stop and pause for a minute. And my husband says, your mind is always going. And I think it's hard. It is always going.
Yeah.
So I don't think I ever stop to clear it.
Yeah.
I may slow down for a minute, but I never just stop it.
Yeah. My girls and my fiance and friends are always like, you always have like 9 squirrels going around.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
So they joke that when I pass away, they're going to have my brain like examined because they're like, we want to see
that in you, Tiffany.
Yeah,
I can see that.
Why are you? Because I'll like say this and then I'm like, no, we're going on to this.
Yes, I can see you wired like I am. So
Yes, yeah. Because I think you said about your servant, that's just who you are, and you see so much that can be so much better. And so I think for someone like that, it's hard to shut it down.
It's hard. Yeah,
because you're like, but if I shut
I can
down
do
here,
this, I can do
yes.
that. And my husband said, I'm not sure if you are, you have ADHD or something. You're OCD, you're this and that, and it's probably diagnosed as those things.
Yeah,
but I'm probably everything.
Correct.
But I'm jumping from one thing to the next.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. What would you tell your younger self?
I would tell my younger self, there's nobody better than you. When I started 30-something years ago in the technology arena, I will never forget this gentleman who said that people that look like me knew nothing about technology. And because at that time, most people that were leaders in technology were middle-aged white males. And so they said, you're never going to, they don't know, they don't even understand technology. And I look at where I am today and the things that I've done, and I've led a technology for over 20 years. And so I would tell myself, never give up.
Yeah.
Don't let anybody else determine your path. You got this.
Yeah.
And always be humble.
Yeah. Take that. You hear that? Whoever
right.
said that to you,
Right.
like, don't you just want to go? Yes.
Yes. I wish I could find him right now.
Yes. No, I get it. Because even, just as a woman, in the world I work in, in the worlds I've worked in, I was fortunate enough to work in DC for several years, 4.5 years. And that was same culture.
That's right.
Like, what are you doing here? Walk in the
Yes,
room,
yes.
and that actually drives me more.
Me too. See?
Yeah.
See?
Yes.
Told you to.
Yeah. Like, I'm like, okay, I'll show you.
Now I'm going to prove you wrong.
Yes. And, bye. See you later. On to the next thing.
On to the next.
Yeah. What would you like to see in Augusta in 10 years? Like, what is one thing that you would like to see changed or done better or improved?
I would like to see growth, major positive growth.
Yeah.
In our community. I would like to see our riverfront expand. Every time I go to Savannah, I get jealous because, to me, going to Savannah is like going home after you invested so much time in college there. And I'm like, there's possibilities for us to do these things. So I'm hoping that, I may not get to finish everything that I'm starting now, because, again, I'm like 4 years, I'm going down.
You cannot leave. I'm not going to let you.
Oh, no.
I'm going to super glue you to that
so
chair.
I'm like, what can we get done in that time period? But I want to make sure that at least the blueprint is there And, I've always said, my goal is to always leave something better than I found it. And that's what I want to do. I want to see Augusta have some real smart, positive growth and become a community that the citizens can be proud of, that people can say, I want to be in Augusta. I remember when I know this is supposed to be rabbit,
No.
but I recall
I love
when,
this.
Randy Oliver, I'll never forget him, that was once the administrator of Augusta. And he eventually went to Greenville. And I remember going to Greenville myself and doing some research on Greenville. And Greenville was really where Augusta is today. And I recently went there for a conference. I'm like, oh my God, it has changed. The trajectory is, everything is changing. It's beautiful. And I love spending time there. And I'm like, these are the things we started around the same time. Augusta just has not found this way to get there.
Yeah.
And I am hoping, not even within 10, I do see us making that slow progress.
Yeah.
I want us to get there. I want us to be even better. So I'm hoping that I can do something to start that engine continuously moving. If I just fuel the vehicle to continue to make those things happen for 10 years.
Well, I think you already are.
Thank you.
I do. What is one thing besides coffee? Because I know you love coffee. We weren't talking about that before. But what is one thing you can't live without?
Oh, a margarita.
With salt or sugar?
Salt or cream.
Oh, love it. I love it. And if you had, right now, if I said I'm going to buy you a plane ticket to anywhere in the world, where would you go?
Ooh, I don't. Oh, where would I go? Maybe. Now, this is not rapid, I know, Tiffany.
Yeah, I love it though.
I can't think. My son just came back from Japan.
Okay.
With he was studying abroad.
Okay.
And he was just bragging, and I've been, here. So I probably would go to Japan.
Me too. That's on my list. Australia and Japan are yes too. And several friends have gone to Japan in the last 2 years and just go on and on. How safe they felt.
He said it was beautiful. Yeah, I just really would like to go there. Yeah, I'd say, he goes to Augusta University, and that's a great program.
What an incredible opportunity for him. How long was he there for?
They were there for 10 days.
Wow. Mm-hmm. I bet you did it get him the bug of
Oh, he loves it. He's still bragging about it today. We just picked him up the other night. He's just bragging about it. And he just said, Mom, it's the best experience. So I think I want to go there now because my whole family wants to go there now.
Yeah. Yeah, so love that. Well, you have to let me know interior so you get there before I do. Okay. So we love to wrap up our Building Community podcast by asking Miss Allen, how do you build community?
You build community with trust. That's how you build it.
That's so good. Yeah. That's so good. I love that. I think that's a wrap. That's the end of it. So thank you so much, Miss Allen, for your leadership, your time to come in here and do this, your time anytime I call to have a phone call with me or a meeting with me. There are members. You are very accessible, and I just admire you for that, and just thank you for all that you're doing for our city and our region. And just thanks for joining Building Community Podcast.